Alright, YouTube. This video is going to be about ice barriers. It's going to be a budget version. Of course, if you can afford, like, better cards or, Infinite Permanence or Ghost Ogre or, not Ghost Ogre, I'm sorry, Ash Blossom, or any kind of more expensive cards, I would say go ahead and do so. But this is going to be more geared towards people who are kind of on a budget, probably more willing to buy like the structure decks, for instance, kind of like that, and don't have a whole lot or don't want to spend a whole lot. But let's go ahead and get started into the video. I'm running 3 Revealer and then 3 Speaker. So Revealer is kind of cool because you can discard a card and then special summon a tuner from the deck. And then Speaker is kind of cool because she can special summon herself if you control an ice barrier, and then she can banish herself from the graveyard, and then you can special summon a token. And then I run 3 General Wayne. He's like a Cyber Dragon, because if you control like an ice barrier and then your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon him. And then when he's summoned, you get to add a ice barrier spell or trap, or not spell trap. I'm sorry, spell card from your deck, and you get to add it to your hand. I run 1 Defender of the Ice Barrier because he's a level 3, and then 1 of the Hexa Spirit of the Ice Barrier. You summon him based off, or not based. I'm sorry. You summon him off the effect of Revealer or 1-for-1, and then you use his effect to change his level to 3 by sending Defender. Just some kind of cool combo you can do. I only run 1 of each just because you only need 1. But if you want to run multiples of either, I would say maybe at most 2. I also run 1 Suijin of the Ice Barrier. I feel like he's only a 1 of, and you can tribute him, special summon a level 5 or higher Ice Barrier monster from your hand, and you can target a level 3 or higher water monster you control reduces level by exactly 2, and you can special summon him from the graveyard. I also run 2 Prior of the Ice Barriers. You can special summon himself and then, of course, tribute himself for like a level 5 or higher. But if you were to use the effect of special summon him during that turn, you can't special summon more monsters, which is depressing. You can only I want to say you can only tribute summon, which or special summon level 4 or lower, which is fucking depressing. But it's one of those things. It's just like is what it is. Also like playing them because I do run a couple high level ones in the main. Speaking of high level ones, I run 1 General Ryo of the Ice Barrier. When your opponent's monster effect activated on the field resolves, they must discard a card or the effect is negated. So whenever they activate a card effect, they have to discard a card, and then that way it's more like hand shenanigans, because in Ice Barriers you're trying to get rid of as much cards in their hand as possible. Also run 1 Medium of the Ice Barrier. So if your opponent controls 4 more cards than you do, you can special summon this card from your hand. Your opponent can only activate 1 spell/trap card each turn. So it kind of puts a little bit of pressure on your opponent if you have both of them out on the field, and it's really easy to get both of them out on the field. In this build anyways. With General Ryo being you have to discard a card to be able to resolve the effect, and then her being able to make it where your opponent can only activate 1 spell or trap. As long as they'll get as many monster effects on field as they have cards in hand, but they're not going to be able to resolve the spell or trap if they activate unless they discard the card. And even if they do resolve the spell, that's it for the rest of the turn for them. So it's one of those like control, one of those basic control things you can do, like just to apply a little bit of pressure. And plus they have 22 and 2100 attack, which I feel like if it was a little bit higher, it would be a little harder to deal with, but it's fine though. 3 Aqua Spirits, because you can banish a water monster from your graveyard, supposed to summon her. Her second effect doesn't really matter. But and so also she's a level 4, so it kind of makes it easier to summon your higher level synchros. That being, of course, Trishula. And then I run 3 of the Elemental Lord. I'm not pronouncing that name. Basically, if you have exactly 5 water monsters in your graveyard, you can supposed to summon him, and then basically he has shenanigans where it's card supposed to summon, discard 2 cards from your opponent's hand, or if entire hand if it's 2 or less, and then you can only use the effects of him once per turn. If this card leaves the field, skip the battle phase of your next turn, which that doesn't really matter. The whole skipping the battle phase, if it leaves field, doesn't matter. And then I run 2 Ghost Ogre. This actually really comes in handy. I prefer Ghost Ogre over Ash Blossom because usually I'm going up against people who activate a lot of cards on field. So, in the duels that I've played against, this was a lot more useful than Ash Blossom, and plus Ash Blossom is a lot more expensive. So I'm like, why am I paying more for a card that doesn't really help me as much? And plus, Ghost Ogre is only like $2 each, so it's one of the better hand traps. You can also replace it with Effect Veiler. Either way, it doesn't matter. She also really goes well with the medium and then the John Arroyo, because the whole you have to discard a card to be able to activate the effect, and then the spell trap. If you're to activate the Ghost Ogre, so they would pick the discard because of his effect, and then you can chain Ghost Ogre, so you would negate that effect. I think that's how that would work. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Correct me in the comments. But basically, you can always Ghost Ogre, and then, of course, it'll be one less effect you have to deal with. And then, of course, you can always use the other effects if it doesn't. Basically, it'll make it where your opponent would have to discard an extra card, or it's just one of those shenanigan kind of things to just interrupt your opponent. And then for spells, I run Winds Over the Ice Barrier. Basically, I don't like running 3, just because you have to tribute ice barriers on your field, and then spell some ones with different names. But it's just kind of there. And I also run 3 Medallion. It's kind of like the Rhoda of the deck. I run 3 Freezing Chains. This is like your Monster Reborn. And then I also run 1 of the Magic Triangle of the Ice Barrier. You can reveal 3 Ice Barriers with different names from your hand, and then target 1 card your opponent controls, and then destroy it, and then you can special summon 1 of the Ice Barriers from your hand. So I use it with like one of the higher level ones. That way you don't have to worry about like normal summoning them. And then also run Upstart, One Day, 3 trade-ins, because you're also running the Elemental Lord, and it's just more consistency. And then 1 for 1, and then Foolish Burial. And then that's it for the main deck. For the extra deck, I'm running Do Lorn, Tiger King of the Ice Barrier, 1 Bryonic, 1 Gungnir, sorry, and then 1 Trish, and then 1 Trishula 0, because you can only run 1 regular Trish, and the other one 0. I feel like 1's only like necessary. You can run 3, it doesn't, or 2, it doesn't matter, but 1 is more of a personal preference for me. And then I'm running 3 Black Rose Dragons, or 1 of the original Black Rose, sorry, 1 Moonlight, and then 1 Rudy Rose Dragon. It's just for like field presence, and plus like you can kind of fuck with your opponent's board. So there's just kind of there, just kind of as a last resort almost. I also run 1 Stardust, just because I have it and because you can make it. Kind of as a fuck it, why not? Also run 1 Totally Awesome. You can run Bahamut Shark. I just don't have Bahamut Shark. Totally Awesome is good because you do have 3 level 2s in the deck, and you have at least a little bit of level manipulation through the, what's it called? Zoojin. So you do have level manipulation, and you can summon Toad, if you're able to. And then I also run 101, and then 1 Abyss Driller. Abyss Driller for obvious reasons, and then 101 just to be able to possibly steal your opponent's monster. And then that's it for the deck profile. If there's any other kind of better options to make it a little more budget, or maybe not more budget, sorry, more consistent without going over a certain budget, go ahead and let me know. Like the video, subscribe, all that jazz, and then that's it.